Alright, so let's get on with the probably last match of today. It's gonna be played between Frost B and their opponents from KeeN. Should be a pretty good match, and it's actually a very important matchup, especially for KeeNs, because KeeNs are right now quite poised towards the first spot in the division number 2, but if they actually happen to lose the game against Frosts, then it's gonna be getting quite a lot interesting for them, and maybe even if they drop to 0, then it's gonna be getting a whole lot more interesting even towards playoffs. So they are definitely not in any kind of good position all that much. And that means that this match is actually going to be very important, which is something that I suggested a bit before, of course. So here we go. Here we of course go with the match that is going to be played on Anatolia, and that should be the home map from Frost, I'm thinking. But looking at the gods, what that's going to be for Lyor, Isis, for Luindula is going to be Ra. Still not kind of used to how to pronounce the name properly, so sorry about that. And the last player for Frost, that's gonna be Subdi as Thor, and for the opponents Omega X Blast, of course, Zeus. And then Green Sea Squash is gonna be playing Thor, and Mor is gonna be playing Oranos. So quite standard civilizations, and let's see how this is gonna be playing out. Quite curiously so, we are having Aegis just on basically one team on Frost, which definitely is confirming that this is their home map. They're gonna be on the right side, it's gonna be Lyor, and is he gonna be joined by somebody? Apparently not, as this is actually a nice spawn for Frost, definitely will be lucky for and happy about that, as on the left side Luindula is gonna be having, of course, as another Egyptian quite a good matchup against other players, and he's gonna be apparently joined by Subdi, so it's gonna be just Lyor alone on the right, as on the left the other Frosts are gonna be fighting against, well, apparently a single. This is gonna be a 2 versus 1, which is of course gonna be playing into the cards of Frost, because of course right now Green Sea Squash is probably gonna be having quite a different and hard game to be played against an Egyptian plus a teammate. So of course on the other side of the map it's gonna be a bit easier for them, but not really all that fully, because you mustn't forget that of course Lyor is gonna be the Egyptian, and once you are Egyptian you are having very good options how to control the map, especially as Anatolia, by spamming the docks, and it's very, very hard for the opponents to actually get through that kind of blockade. So yeah, even though there are gonna be 2 here, it's not gonna be easy at all. But still, they will have some kind of chance, especially considering that Omega X Blast might be coming for restoration, but I'm not all that certain, because yet again, against double Egyptians on Anatolia, it might be just a bit more prudent to go for ceasefire and not like base your game around the water. Because the water, fight for it, but don't expect to really win it. That's probably the message, that's the best here. And try to somehow take enough advantage of it so that it can propel you into some kind of proper middle game and faster, potentially mythical ages and really good aggression. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Apparently in the chat we're having some kind of loser who is intent on actually making new accounts and whatnot, so but that's gonna be short work for me, of course. So not really any kind of problem to get rid of him, as we are having some kind of lag problem, but there was already lag before. So that was why Scuddy actually had to leave, because of FP and whatnot. So yeah, kind of who knows? Who knows really? No, it's not me. More the first to blame others, so it's pretty much more. Yeah, we have pretty much confirmed that it is more, because the first one to blame someone else, especially people like more than is them, and they know it. So that's that. But it doesn't really matter. We don't really see any kind of shields yet. So let's see how this is gonna be continuing. At any rate, we are of course looking at 2.5 minutes already, so we should be probably expecting advances in reasonable timing. In here. So of course we are also looking at second dog being already built at the bottom. That Mor is just now scouting, and he definitely needs to somehow try to keep this in check, because he needs to know where and how many dogs are actually gonna be built. So yeah, that's about it. He needs to I kinda not liking how Lyor is actually playing this. He should be probably a bit more aggressive, trying to advance himself a bit more into the middle of the map, because if he can make a blockade about here, then he's gonna be significantly protecting all those fishing boats. Whereas if he's going this slowly towards the top, then not really that great. Not really that great in here. Well, we're gonna be moving also on the left side, where apparently Swoop is... Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Apparently, Green Sea Squash is not only going to be facing double on the water, but he's also going to be having quite an aggressive gameplay against them in the early game. So not really that awesome for him. This is gonna be a very hard game for Green Sea Squash. And considering that actually Omega X Blast is already kind of tilted towards the right to help actually on the right plane more, I'm not all that certain it's actually gonna be all that ready to help his blue teammate, which is gonna be up to Green Sea Squash's skill to actually somehow stay alive, which could happen because he is quite a skilled player, but well, still gonna be pretty hard, I'm kinda guessing. Very good relic for Luyendula, better cavalry speed, and considering that he is an Egyptian and a Ra, nonetheless it's gonna be probably useful for camelry. So camels are probably gonna be quite fast for him, as he is just not advancing, gonna be advancing soon I'm thinking. That's why he was actually sending the villagers inside. Yes, coming through Bust. Azra, he's coming through Bust, that's nice. Not shifting sense for him. As in the pocket, that's gonna be Swoop already almost through. On the right side, not clicking Lyre even now. As of course Promethean also almost through. And they are actually coming for the water. That's a bit of a surprise. I was expecting that maybe they could be calling it a game on the water or not really fighting for it all that much, but Athena definitely confirms the opposite. They're gonna be fighting for it 100%, and let's see how that's gonna go. If they're gonna be able to deal with the Egyptian Lyre on the right side. It's gonna be Isis, which is the harder god to actually play against as far as Egyptians go, because of course she can get the help with some ancestors, maybe even cast them on the enemy economy, but that happens usually in 1v1s, not really so much in team games, because there usually you can be having some better advantage gained from that power for god power. On the right side, it's gonna be Omega X Blast. Still not really committing to either side as far as actually land goes, but of course second TC for more champion, quite significant, telling you that he is not going for the water all that significantly. You can see he's having literally one dog, so he's not really expecting to win it, and this is confusing. This is at this point confusing because we could have seen that Omega X Blast through going Athena is going for the water, whereas more champion isn't. So like, what's the communication in there? Because playing against an Isis on Anatolia is always hard on the water, so if you can get some full double, you could be having some kind of chance at least. But in 1v1, even with restoration, it's gonna be very hard, unless you get some kind of land protection and land support. So not really certain what's the game plan, and what's mainly the communication between the KeeN team. That seems kinda weird. Let's see what's actually gonna come out of it. Maybe there's gonna be a second coming up a bit later. It did, but still... weird decisions, but still could be working. It's not like it's lost anyway. It still could be quite a good game for them. Anyway, Lyre coming for Anubis definitely makes sense as he's preparing for the water fighting. As on the left side we are, of course, Green Sea Squash having just a bit of waiting time because he needs to somehow wait to see what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is gonna be the full double, which he already knows about, as the Forest Fire has been cast right next to the purple player. But is it gonna be meaning something significant? I don't really think so, as we have seen a bolt being cast to get rid of one of the boats of the Egyptians, and that's gonna mean that he has to right now retreat, as he doesn't have enough push to get through all of this blockade, of course, through the docks. That's exactly the strength of the Egyptians, and combined with all the snakies, this is... oh well, this is a minefield. This is really a minefield right now for the opponents, and I'm really expecting that the restoration might be coming into play quite a bit sooner. And I was thinking sooner, but looking at this, I'm thinking never. Because unless actually more supports yellow player quite significantly, there's just not gonna be any fight for the water. This is looking so better and so well played by Lyre, that he probably shouldn't be having all that much of a problem dealing with that. As on the other side of the map, it seems a bit different, as opposing to what I was actually thinking. Green Sea Squash seems to be having quite a good game against both Luyendula and Swoop East, so it seems like that, as opposed to what I was thinking, he could be actually somehow even trying to push for the water, even though, again, against the Egyptian it's always going to be hard. But he also needs to be checking, or rather keeping in check, on his base, as there was a green blob just a bit before, but otherwise no attack yet, and it seems that not even Subdi is all that getting ready for some kind of assault. Who is getting ready for a bit of an annoyance is apparently More, who is having Prometheans right next to opponent, lost the oracles in there that are trying to deny at least a bit of gold gathering. He did kill one dwarf, it seems. Yeah, so good job. but Valkyrie is gonna be healing all the rest up quite without any kind of issue, and well, it's gonna be up to More to continue the pressure through the middle, which is definitely a nice build up because he's gonna be protecting the goal, and since he's playing against two Egyptians as the whole KeeN team, this is definitely a good idea, because if he can somehow prevent at least one of them from having comfortable advance into the mid of the game and mid of the map as well at the same time, then that's gonna be going a long way in actually somehow inching towards the victory in the game. So it's looking almost like a restoration, even though I thought it's gonna be kind of useless because the water should be coming for Lyre without all that much of a question. Maybe you're just gonna be still seeing it because it seems like that Omega X Blast is putting really his back into this fight. Already getting second TC in there for a bit better economy, and third being captured for More. The front one. That's kind of nice. It's kind of nice indeed, as they seem to be really kind of more or less faking the water and hoping, or rather hoping, thinking if maybe if they win it, it's gonna be a bonus. If not, it's of course at least gonna be forcing Lyre into spending quite a lot of resources into the water fight and slowing him down in the advance on the land, where he's already switching into barracks and probably gonna be hoping to switch into heroic cage in some reasonable timing as well. In the meantime though, Leondula has found the villager, unfortunately with almost that Sphinx against the hero villagers, so yeah, go back to the desert where you came from. Oh, but careful More. Somebody's not paying attention right now. This is this is actually much more than Leondula was hoping for. This this is good. This is too good, as we are looking at the restoration finally being cast at the bottom, which is of course gonna be resulting into some kind of push forward. But look at how Swoop is actually joining here. Oh well. Oh well, oh well. This is not great. Not great looking right about now for Omega X Blast, because he's right now forced to face two opponents, whereas he's receiving no assistance from More whatsoever. Finally, the villager has returned back, but it still gave plenty enough time to actually Lyre to send the first units in here. And is that actually moment of not paying attention going to be deciding the TC not getting captured? Well, that would be brutal. That I wouldn't wish to More at all, because that would be pretty sad. He was probably looking at, I don't know, maybe micromanaging his economy somewhere at home, thinking about that, maybe thinking if he needs to help his teammate, but that didn't really work out at all, and it seems to be really making for quite some significant problems for him. Otherwise though, we mustn't forget that on the left, we are already looking at push forward by Leondula, at least sending the villages in there, so that's probably gonna be resulting into Migdol somewhere here. You can see the triple gold. These triple goals are gonna be supremely important for Leondula, and if Swoop DE can actually already help him with somehow capturing it, then that's gonna be going a long way towards securing the left side of the map. So Locust Swarm coming up, that's gonna be, oh, against... that wasn't really cast all that well, it seems like, unfortunately. Good idea, but doesn't seem to be working. It seems to be that he's also going to be losing the Betsuchos, almost. Well, that was a clutch. As the airway, or rather airplane just got there in time. Otherwise, of course, moving forward, this is gonna be over soon pretty much as well, as the water right about now is inching for Leondula as he is in the heroic cage, and so far the blue player isn't, but he's not really far behind with Bragi, as More is also advancing into Theia, so he definitely is right to still continue his presence and try to deny the economy, though he's not denying it all that much. He's just right now trying to make sure that actually it's not all that easy for his opponents, and mainly that he keeps his. That's much more important than anything else. In the meantime, the right side of the water seems to be coming for Omega X Blast, which is definitely surprising to me, as he basically was still fighting alone. And even especially since Swoop DE joined the fun in that, I'm kinda not sure why Lyre gave up on it. He had to have given up on it, because like there's no other reason why he would be actually losing the water as an Egyptian in such a good position that he was in. He wasn't really losing the water, he was really playing very well in that. But well, this is it right now, and Swoop is also switching with the build on the right side, definitely good idea. As a pocket player, he needs to be present everywhere. He needs to be present absolutely everywhere. Otherwise, More is still pushing forward, quite inevitably and inexorably. Slowly but surely, definitely doing a good job of that, it seems like at this point. And if he can finish with those, it's gonna be even closer to maybe even trying to control the TC from the hands of the enemy. So nicely played in there. Otherwise, front TC being captured by Omega X Blast, so that he has some kind of better position in the middle of the map, so that he can most probably control a bit more on the left, together with Green Sea Squash, because of course the TCs are coming forward. And this is actually a stolen one. This is a stolen one from the opponents, from Blue, as Blue is just now gathering the second one at the back, and there's no more for them. So potentially what they can do is, especially through more, if he can somehow control the town centers of his opponents, especially those two, if he can control both of them, then they are still gonna be in pretty much equal footing in there. Will. Still getting ready with some barracks units and whatnot. How's it looking with advances? I'm just waiting for Red to actually get into Heroic Age finally. So far not really advancing, it's kinda curious. Even coming for the towers to protect the TC in there. As Bragi coming up for swoop. The water is still not really fully done. You can see that Lyor still is having some kind of thoughts how to come back to it, potentially. And there was some kind of fourth age advance from more, right? Did I see that correctly? Yes, I did. Hekate. Apollo from Omega, and this is looking quite promising so far, I have to say, for KeeNs. As they have basically stabilized the position, and even though there has been a front EC stolen from them, they are definitely getting ready to retake it, as the army from especially Swoop doesn't seem to be strong enough. Doubly combined with the fact that he's having most of the army on the right, where Lyor is needing plenty more assistance, that it seems like that actually might be needed on the left to other teammate Liundula. As of course on the water, with the extra Heroic Age ships, it seems that Green Sea Squash is gonna be closing the deal in here quite soon, as Starter engaged being cast right next to the gold mine, next to both gold mines. This is well placed by Mode Champion, and of course, even though it's under fire by the TC and the tower, it's gonna be still quite problematic. Plenty of idle villagers, and quite probably plenty of them are also going to be paying with their lives. Yeah, the spawns are definitely eating them alive in there. Oh well. That's hard to see. That's kinda hard to see. Otherwise, looking at the map, not much interesting stuff happening, just basically more. Taking another TC in there, as Subas right now being given one of the... Oh, this was actually more casting the Hesperitry, hoping that he can... That he can do what? That he can somehow produce more Dryads in there, but he just basically just gave up to his ally, or rather his opponent, who is just going to be using it, and right now... There seems to be some kind of drop. Well, it seems to be heading that way, but it's not really over yet. More is right now going to be still in the front TC, so the right side is not going to be winning for Lyor. So it seems that actually they're gonna be calling into the game, even though somebody dropped. I'm not entirely certain whom. On the left side, they're gonna be losing the front TC. The attack by Green Sea Squash seems to be strong enough. And, well, yeah, of course, right now, it's gonna be Frost giving up on this position, and it's probably gonna be getting there, especially considering the right side. Lyor wasn't doing all that well, and he wouldn't be advancing into Heroic Age really anytime soon in there. Really anytime soon, so bit of a shame. It looked kind of interesting, especially the water looked very promising for Lyor, but somehow it just didn't follow through properly. Weird, weird indeed. At any rate, let's check the post game. That's gonna be Green Sea Squash as the highest score. Well, he was doing very well on the water against two opponents. It's well played. On the right side is also was Omega X Blast playing very well against one tough opponent and then joined even a bit of second one. So that was quite fine, and otherwise some interesting stats somewhere else. So far, not that I could see. Not that I could see all that much. Yeah, Swoop, unfortunately not all that efficient, it seems like, with all the army. Well, he wasn't really engaging, he was just basically waiting for the right engagements, but he couldn't really find them, as he was mostly in a very disadvantageous situation if he were to fight, so kinda figures. Well, GG.